Welcome, everyone. We've got another Boondock Technologies live stream for you. So get your questions ready. After we go through how to set up and bring up your device, we're going to leave it out to the listeners as what questions you need answered. And tonight, we've got a special guest. That's right, Jesse Robinson. Jesse is our Senior Director of Hardware Development. Jesse, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an electrical engineer with like 15 years experience, most of it automotive, and I like electronics and board games.
Cool. Thanks, Jess. And KC, our Senior Executive Chief Director of Software Stuff. Casey, how you doing tonight, buddy? Tell us about yourself.
I'm doing well, thank you. And I'm handling all the software, the technology, the AI in the back end, the firmware, and all that software side. That's what I deal with.
Cool. Well, welcome, gentlemen. It's great to have you here. The order of today is to go through a Boondock hardware bring up, start to finish. And then as users have issues and they bring them to us, we'll go through them, work them live. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then, Casey, the floor, sir, is yours.
All right. So let's get started. So we already had a bunch of users who went live. Some of them were able to successfully set everything up. Some of them had some issues. So through my process of setting it up, I'll try to cover one of those issues. So hopefully you don't face the same issue. So I'll get started. So there'll be three parts. One, we will create a new account on Boondock Echo. Just look around what the website is, where things are. Then we'll set up a Boondock Echo right from the beginning, from scratch, as you would do. And then we will link it up, record a few sample audios, and then look at a bunch of features on how to find your audios, how to set up alerts, how to see the transcription, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's get started. Okay, I'll start by sharing my screen. I'll get off the camera maybe for a little bit. Let me select window. Okay. All right, looks like my screen is up now. Okay, so even if you don't remember the domain name, all you have to do is do Boondock Echo, and you will find a bunch of links. We have enough information online. Crowd Supply, that's where you can buy one. There are a bunch of articles on Hackaday, and there are other people who have reviewed. There are a bunch of videos, but what you're interested in is boondockecho.com. And that's how you get to the website. And domain name, as you can see here, www.boondockecho.com. So I'm going to start by just creating a new account. And when you click on here, you can click new account if you do not have one. And you can also use your Google single sign-on, which maybe you like it, or maybe you want to use your own. So in this example, we'll just create a new account using just an email address. So I'm going to use my Gmail account and my name and password, and verify that you are a human being. I hope you are. So, and with this, once I click account, one of the things which is going to happen, it'll send me an email and it will ask me to verify. The reason is we want to make sure that the email account you have used is the right one. Okay, oh, I forgot to accept the terms. I click create account. Okay, let me do it again. I should have clicked that first. Right. Subscribe to the newsletter. You don't really need that. If you want.
What? Yeah.
It's not mandatory, I would say, Mark. It's not compulsory.
It's not.
I would highly recommend you do, so that you get to know what's going on. Okay,
Fair enough.
terms and conditions. Create the account. And okay, let's do this. My only fear, Mark, is I already had an account with this. I tried to delete that account and creating a new one. So I'm going to use completely new email address, which is
All right. While you're doing that, I will tell our viewers the wonderful parts of the newsletter. We don't send it out very often, but it isn't much of an advertisement. It's mostly just useful information on how Boondock Echo works and sometimes some other adventures that we're getting off into. We're not trying to spam your inbox. We're just trying to communicate. That's why it's called the communicator. You should sign up. It's good. How are we looking there, Casey?
all right. Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure I got my email right here. And I'm just logging into my email account so that I can rather quickly verify my email account once I get the email. Okay, so I'm using my iCloud account, username and password, accept, and Mark, as you said, I'm subscribing to the newsletter and create the account.
Smart move, Casey. Smart move.
All right, let me try one more time. I'm just going to use a complex password this time. All right, I think third time is a charm. So I really apologize. I should not have used my email address, which I already used in the past. I just forgot that I already have an account. I have too many Boondock accounts. Okay, so the next thing is you will get an email address which will have a unique link. You can click on the email and verify. Now, if you did not receive the email, you can click resend. It's very common because the internet world, Boondock Echo is pretty new to them. So please look at your spam accounts and look, did it get blocked by somewhere? And essentially you will get an email. And let me just quickly log into my iCloud account and show you how that should look like. If in an event you do not get an email, because we have had one of the users, my suspicion is because of it got blocked by by the email gateway. It's very common that it can happen. It got blocked by email gateway, so the person never got an email. If that happens to you, my simple request is just send an email to support@boondockecho.com with your email address and say that, hey, I created this account, can you please make sure? And so in that with that case, what we are going to do is we'll just help you out, create an account, make sure that it is activated, and we are always available on Discord to set you up. All right, so I'm logging into my iCloud account, maybe just do my multi-factor authentication. All right, so let me just move the tab here. Okay, so you will see an email which looks like this. Welcome to Boondock Echo. Please activate your account. All you have to do is click on this link, or if the link is getting blocked, you can just copy this URL from here, put it on a browser. Sometimes when you click, you wanted to open Chrome, but it ends up opening some other browser. Just copy the browser link and paste it. In my case, I am on iCloud and I'm on Chrome, my preferred uh, web browser, and you will get activated and you will get logged into your Boondock account just like that. And this is your account. Essentially, you will get to see your Boondock scheduler, your alerts, your notifications, and everything will be here. I would strongly recommend you quickly go to your profile. Uh, You can put your address. We do not if you don't want to put the full address, just don't put the street name. Don't put the house number if that makes you uncomfortable. Select your time zone. Make sure that your time zone is correct. Most likely, this will pick the right time zone based on where you log in from. But if you're using VPN or something else, if it picks a wrong time zone, please select the correct time zone, and that's it. For those who really care about their safety and security of accounts, you can also sign up to a multi-factor authentication. You can use Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and there are so many authenticators which will be supported. And we haven't seen anything which is not supported. You can enable that. You can also enable your email authentication. So every time you try to log in, it will let you verify through the email. Just another step of safety. Okay, once you're done with this, one more thing. If you have a second email, you would like to receive an email on a second account, you can put a secondary email. You can put your second email. It could be your spouse, it could be your friend or colleague, someone you want to also get notified. You can use the secondary email. And if you have a call sign, please put your call sign here. That is required if you plan to transmit using Boondock Echo, which is something we'll look at in a few minutes.
Okay, so I see how it is. Call signs required, but the newsletter isn't. No, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. All right.
All right.
Let's get up. Let's bring the device up, buddy.
All right, let's do that. So because I already have my account up here, what I'm going to do is I want to do the second step. I will get off that screen, get to my second camera where I have my computer. And Mark, do you mind filling in about the device while I'm getting everything ready?
I'd be happy to, Casey. So the Boondock Echo is a two-way radio interface that records, transcribes, translate in up to like 40 different languages. It can transmit. One of the most useful features of it, though, is the notification feature. It can sit there and listen for keywords that you specify and then go out and send SMS messages, email messages, or IFTTT. If this, then that. That's a program that's pretty well integrated across the web at this point, that incorporates triggers and actions. If this happens, then do this. And you can do that to all sorts of things. So if Boondock Echo hears, open up my garage door, then the action can be your garage door opens up. It'll integrate with HomeKit, with Alexa, with, all manner of thing. Boondock Echo is still relatively early in the development cycle. We started out with 2 beta testers, moved to 20, and now we're moving to 200 users while we figure out our server scaling and all of that. KC, you ready to be live?
I sure am. All right. Okay, so here's my Boondock Echo. It's a brand new Boondock Echo. I imagine you just got your box, your mail, and now you're excited to get it up. So this is what you would need. Boondock will come with this cable. It can connect to many radios. And if you don't have a radio compatible, that's fine. There are so many ways to connect to Boondock Echo. You'll also need a micro USB cable. I would recommend try to pick a cable which is kind of like it's like a thick cable so that you don't have any power issues. At least pick something which is thicker than the cable of the Boondock audio, because you are transferring like 200 milliamps of power. You want it to be stable. If you can get something like this with a ferrite on it, perfect. Nothing like that, but you just need a micro USB cable and a phone or a computer to get it up. All right, let's get started with that. When I connect it, you will be hearing some audios. You might not get the audio completely on my microphone, but I'll just try to give you an idea of how it is. And to make everything faster, I will mute the audio going on here. So on one side, you will see that you have the micro SD card. And if you want to know about how to use micro SD card to restore your Boondock Echo, Mark has a very nice video coming up, and we'll share the link for that. You can use either of them, but if you want to connect to the terminal and want to see all the serial port commands, use this port. Else you can use this. But either way, if you're just connecting to a USB, either way is fine. Right now, I just want to plug it in. It gives me USB and power. So I powered it up.
The Boondock Echo team wants to thank you for choosing Boondock
I'll try to
Echo.
find my
In a few minutes,
microphone.
UDock will be ready to transform your two-way radio experience. For troubleshooting tips, visit boondockecho.com and join our Discord channel. On Discord, we have news, alerts, notifications, and plenty of support to help you get the best out of your Boondock Echo. Let's get started. Before we proceed, please create an account at www.boondockecho.com. Setup is simple. The dock will create a Wi-Fi access point. You can connect to the access point using any phone, tablet, or computer. You can skip any instruction using the next button, or restart by pressing the reset button. In a moment.
So what I did is it's giving me instructions. I will be explaining what it is doing, and it'll be much faster for you to see. But I double tapped on the volume button, and it will now not speak all the instructions. It will do everything that is required for the setup. And I also have my phone. I hope it is kind of visible here. So there are only 3 steps, and I'd like to go through them rather quickly. So Boondock Echo right now is a Wi-Fi router. You can connect with a tablet, a phone, or any device which can connect to the internet. And I'm going to my settings, and then Wi-Fi. And you will see something like this. Mine is Boondock Echo 34. Every Boondock will have different last 2 letters. So let's go to Boondock Echo 34. And the password is Boondock Echo. I will just try to type it quickly. And click join. And you will see that it's trying to join. Now, some phones can give you a warning that, hey, there's no internet on this Wi-Fi network. You want to continue? Just let it continue on the Wi-Fi. And oops, let me just type it. It's too hard to type with one hand. 192.168.4. So you have to type in 192.168.4.1. That is basically you are now connected to Boondock Echo with your phone. It has already scanned all the Wi-Fi network that it can access. The benefit is you cannot accidentally put a wrong SSID or a password. So these are the Wi-Fi networks it can see. I'm going to pick my Wi-Fi network, and I will put the password. And my password ends with 0. That's all you can see. And can you see this? I just got this warning saying, hey, it doesn't appear to be connected to internet. I'll continue with that. Then I click connect. Now Boondock is connected to Wi-Fi. You can see that Wi-Fi is connected. Now we are on the step 2. It's also showing you connected to Wi-Fi network AAA. That's my Wi-Fi. And it also got the IP address 10.0.2.9. It might be helpful to take a screenshot or just write it down, because you can access your Boondock on your local network, and there's more to come on that. We have a lot of cool features of just accessing your Boondock offline or in an environment you are not in your Wi-Fi. Okay, so what's the next step? All I need to do is the email address that I used to register my account just a few minutes back, I will put the same email address. Okay, so I use the same email address. Now you can see that it says, oh, successful. It's Boondock is linked to your account, and please write down your Boondock ID. Boondock ID, this is your Boondock ID. This is a unique ID of your Boondock Echo. This is how the whole system knows that this is yours. Even if you go to another Wi-Fi network, still it is yours. So you can write it down. And even if you do not, If you forget it, that's fine. Every time you reset it, it will always get the same ID. Think of it as this is your unique identifier to your Boondock Echo. Okay, so we are here. We also give you a link about if you have any problem getting up till here, send us an email, send us the information. Hey, I use this email and this is my Boondock ID and I cannot log in or something wrong happened. We'll be happy to help you on Discord or via email. Next thing is I do restart. Now you'll have to have a little patience
Resuming
because
Boondock Echo. Connecting to your Wi-Fi network.
so now Boondock is
Wi-Fi
restarting.
connected. New software is available for your Boondock Echo. We will install it now and automatically restart your device. If the process doesn't complete within 3 minutes, please press and release the reset button.
So right now Boondock restarted. It connected to my Wi-Fi network, which I had given just a minute back on the interface, and it's connected to the internet. Now you see this light's like blinking with different colors. It's trying to show that, hey, I'm an RGB LED. I'm not just a plain old LED. And it's right now downloading the files. I would say give 2 to 3 minutes. And if you have experienced that your internet is usually slow on the slower side, give it maximum 5 minutes. It's right now downloading the files and the new firmware. And so now it has just restarted. And at this point of time, Boondock is technically ready, but you just give it 5 more minutes. It should um, download some more files. There are audio files for notifications and everything. And but technically you are done. From here, you just have to wait and get it ready. And Mark, if you let me, can you put 2 things on the screen? I want to show my screen as well. My Boondock Echo account.
Sure. Give me one moment. Or do you want like a side by side, and I'll remove Jesse and I?
That's fine, as long as if my screen is visible enough. I want to show my browser. So if you notice that Boondock Echo is magically right here, it has already linked to your account. It knows that this is your account and this is your brand new Boondock Echo, and it's also showing me it's online. The firmware shows you the firmware date, and you can set up the station and everything. We'll have separate videos on how to use it, how to set up the station. But this is it. Your dock is ready. You can set up. I'll just do a few changes and you will see that I can turn the speaker off and I can turn on the speaker and you'll see it beeping. If I want the volume to be low, I can change that. And recorder sensitivity, usually out of the box it'll work. But if you feel that you know what, I want my recording to be too sensitive, you can change it, but it'll be fine like that. And look at more settings. Just familiarize yourself with these settings. We have speaker volume, transmit volume. So sometimes you might find that you want audio to play loud, but you want transmit to be louder than that because your radio is expecting higher audio levels. You can do all that. You can pick up what's the maximum size of audio recording and so on. And you can also pick the gain. Sometimes you might end up with audio which is too low. Use the gain. You can bump it up and it will use the software and hardware gain built within the Boondock Echo and to amplify your audio. I would strongly recommend click on audio to text. This will help automatically transcribe the audio messages, and we'll look at that in a second. And if you plan to transmit, please enable transmit, because this is a safety mechanism. If you do not enable transmit, it will play the audio. You might think it's transmitting, but there are 3 levels of safety for transmit. One is setting it up here. Second is, of course, it'll be the radio that is connected if the radio has transmit feature enabled. And third is also the audio safety switch. We'll we'll cover those details in a separate video. But I want to get to the next step. Okay, I got my radio connected. I have my Boondock, and I can see all my activity. You see that I have enabled and disabled push to talk a few times. It's showing me all of that. I can click more, and I can see, hey, did I have any errors, or if I had any errors or not. It shows you kind of list of what is happening. I updated I updated the volume. I used mute and unmute, and it shows me the IP address. This is very interesting, and we'll come to that in a second. It shows you SD card, how much space is already used up, so you can keep a track of when your SD card is getting full. Boondock has a feature that it will automatically delete the oldest files, but if you keep an eye on it, you want to make a backup, you can always do that. Okay, so let's get to the next step. Mark, do you mind putting this on my camera on a bigger level so I can show a little more?
Like this, sir?
Oh yeah, that looks perfect. So, okay,
Perfect.
so I got my Boondock ready, and if you quickly notice, these short blinks these look like a lighthouse kind of effect. Short blinks means everything is fine. If anything is wrong, it'll be like long red blinking. And you will also hear a lot of messages. It will say, hey, Boondock could not connect to the Wi-Fi network you have provided. Please update the Wi-Fi. You will see a lot of notifications, which you can also disable it. You can go to your settings and disable it. Okay, let's get a radio and get some recording in. Mark, do you want to talk about best way to get the NOAA weather radio frequencies to anyone?
Well, actually, Casey, I'd like to bring Jesse on for a minute and talk about how to connect to different radios. He's the expert in the different audio ins and outs. And, let's say I've got a cable for my ICOM I want to connect. How do I make that happen?
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. So there are two audio inputs on the Boondock Echo. Maybe Casey can pull up a side view while we talk about it. The top one, there we go. So the top one says audio in, and the bottom one says radio in out. And they're for different things. Basically, the radio in out is a DigiRig compatible TRRS jack, so it'll carry speaker, microphone, push to talk, and ground. So the cable we provided is a Kenwood style cable that has all those signals and goes to Baofeng and many other Kenwood style radios. So you can go on DigiRig's site and find ones for your radio. You might need to play with your volume settings as attenuation and speaker volumes probably differ radio to radio. Eventually, we'll make a compatibility chart that says, like, it's been tested with this radio. We know it works with this one. This one, you might need to do this or that. There's actually potentiometers that are inside the case that if you're an advanced user in a special radio, you can go in there and adjust those. The other input on the Boondock Echo says audio in. And what that is so yeah, the bottom one is radio in out, and the top one is audio in only. And that one is a TRRS connector, but we're only connected to tip and sleeve. So that's for like if you don't have a DigiRig style or anything, or if you have something that's line level or scanner, basically you plug it into that port, or if you want another level of safety that you're not going to transmit accidentally, the two rings are not connected on the audio in. So those are audio only input on that one. They're actually tied together, the audio, but there is another bonus feature for people that are using line level audio. Most radios on their headset jack are going to give you like a speaker. You're pretending to be a handset is what the radio in out is. So they're going to give you like speaker level audio, which is too high. So there's an attenuation circuit built in there. So on the back, if you're using line level for like a scanner, it might say line or something like that. There's an attenuation switch. So if you want to use the attenuation, you put it in the downward position. And if you don't want attenuation, if you want to bypass it, you put it in the up position. And that does affect both the radio in out and the audio in port. And if you have your speaker on your Boondock, you can actually hear the difference when you switch it on or off. And we added that for the scanner users because it was really noisy for those guys with the attenuation on there and having to use all the gain inside the Boondock. It was attenuating just to gain back up was noisy. Another thing on that side that Casey did point out quick is one of the other safety features for push to talk or for transmit in general. Basically, that switch physically disconnects the push to talk signal. So you can, physically not allow a transmit out on that cable. And that is one of the rings to sleeve. It shorts that connection. That's a pretty typical transmit signal.
Great work, guys. Yeah, so we put in as many safeguards as we could to help keep you guys out of trouble, because heaven forbid you transmit on a fire, EMS police frequency and keep somebody from getting help that needs it. So that's why the safeguards are there. There are requests to get your FCC license plugged in as well. We can, when the FCC database is working, we can verify that you're a ham and that you're in a frequency band that you're allowed to use. However, the FCC database is down so much, we had to just disable it. It was ridiculous. But the whole idea there is just to help people keep out of trouble. And one day, in the far, far future, be able to control radios. So when you change the frequency on the web page, it'll change the frequency on your radio too. But that only works for some radios, and we don't really have the software in place to do that yet. So think of it as a far, far future roadmap feature. All right, Casey, are you ready, buddy? Apparently not. All right. So while we wait for Casey's audio to come back,
I was on mute. I'm sorry, Mark.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy. Welcome
back.
back.
I don't want you to be listening to Mocha barking behind me. He's just too curious about everything.
That's what good dogs do, Casey.
Good dog, yeah. Okay, back to the Boondock Echo. So as we discussed right now, once again, you can clearly see that my LEDs are blinking, and just for my sanity, I will just reset it so that reset is very simple. And just a quick rundown on what these buttons are. First button, which is kind of hard to push because it's a safety, it's a reset. We don't want you to accidentally. The function button FX is if you want to put a custom firmware. That's a little more technical, but you can do that with function button. Push to talk, as it says, you push, you talk on the microphone, and it gets transmitted. Previous and next, whenever Boondock is recording the audio files, it keeps that in the memory. And just like an answering machine, you can come back to Boondock Echo and play next. And each time you press, it plays the last message, and you can double tap the next button, and it will play all the messages like a nice, good old answering machine. So, and then volume button, you can push the volume button every time you push it. It increases the volume by 10%, and it goes to 100, and then it cycles to 10. And you can also double tap the volume button, and it will go in mute. It won't make any sound, and if you like that. So let me just, I'll put the volume little up, little high, so that we can hear. So I have a Baofeng radio, a standard K1 style, and let me just turn it on.
Power on.
So it's a GMRS radio. So just a point, it doesn't matter what frequency it is on, as long as that's K1 connector, you can do it. So I'm using a GMRS radio right now for demo, and let me get my other radio. And Mark would be pissed off if I make a transmission on that. So I have the second radio with
power on.
With a dummy load on it. So I have turned this on. So I'm going to just push the button and transmit and see what happens on the Boondock Echo. I'll just zoom in a little bit more.
So we should go into another room, Casey, so that we can hear it. Right over the Boondock. Make sure you're not muted.
I don't know how much this dummy load will transmit. So I'm
It should get it. And you've got your GMRS license anyway, Casey. So
I do.
I don't even think I'd have to look up the rules, but I don't even think technically you need a dummy load. I think you can transmit GMRS with a license for this type of thing.
Right. Let's do that.
All right. Let's see if we hear it. Okay. So what you're hearing is some noise canceling being done by our streaming software, but that was KD9 VFU transmitting in. It's actually a whole lot clearer. I know that sounded like horrible. It's a lot clearer in real life. It's just not with noise cancellation, which, I mean, the software's doing what it's supposed to do. We just don't want it to do it. So good job, KC.
All right. Thank you. And if you can put up my my browser again for a second, Mark.
Of course.
So as the audio is coming in, you will see that, hey, recording ended due to silence and 7 seconds was recorded. It says the recording started at so and so time. It says just now and recording ended. And because I was using a dummy load, and so it didn't pick up, like, not that good because there was a little bit of echo. So I'm doing an audio check, and that's how you get your audio on Boondock Echo, the recordings and the transcription. You can always go back to my docs, change all the settings that you want. You can control your Boondock remotely and whatnot. And if you remember, 0.2.9, I had remembered my IP address when I set it up. That's why it is important to note it down. So you can access your dock locally. So right now I'm accessing my dock on my network, and it says health is excellent. Disk used, it has received 5 messages. I can reboot and do all that good stuff, but I would like to look at inbox. It shows you the calendar. I have some recordings, and it's loading up all the recordings. You can understand that we are accessing Boondock Echo right now. There's no internet involved, so I cannot see the transcriptions, but you can download these audio files. You can play it on the dock. Let me do that for you. And you can also transmit. If I transmit, let's do that. Let's transmit right now. I will. All it's going to transmit is some noise. And so, all right. So what I'm going to do is I have the same setup. My Baofeng radio is connected, and I'm going to hit transmit. You'll have to trust me that it did play on my other radio, and that's an example of doing a transmit. And because I had already enabled my transmit feature on it, and there are a bunch of other features, and which you will learn over time, and you can use it offline. You can use it as a digital repeater like simplex or duplex. We are still testing this feature. If you want to use it as a repeater, please let us know. We'll make sure that we'll give you enough information how to use it. You can do all that. And one of my favorite thing is you can also transmit in Morse code. Mark, do you want me to try something? Let's do it.
No, let's take a break for a second, Casey. Let's get you back on screen for just a minute and see if we have any questions out there in TV land. We've got a whopping 2 viewers at the moment, and I'm hoping it's people that need a little bit of help. Just so you guys know, this was our plan for the live stream, was first half teach us stuff, second half fix stuff. So if there's anything to fix, anything at all, I'm going to give you a minute to send a chat message or jump into the backyard of StreamYard. If not, we'll just keep showing you features. Jesse, what else do you think is important to know?
Hot tip. I imagine, KC, that IP address that you wrote down is only active until your network decides to DHCP it. So you might need to go into your router and set up a static address for this MAC address once it's online. Is that correct?
Yes, you're right. So it's always good if you set up a static address. However, Boondock Echo also supports MDNS. So if your router supports MDNS, your Boondock Echo will be assigned an MDNS ID. Usually it is like Boondock Echo and last four letters of the MAC address .local. If you are aware of that, you can do that too.
All right, we just have a comment says we're doing great, guys. So let's keep learning and teaching. We still have a few minutes. Let's set out some priorities for what we want people to know how to do. Let's spend a little time on the web page so people know how to play, favorite, save, and then our famous keyword alerts, Casey. Let's show them how to do that. What do you say?
All right, that sounds
Okay.
perfect. Let's do that.
Case, and then Jesse, what else would you like to see?
I think those are all good.
Okay.
I don't have anything else extra. I would say in terms of alerts and stuff, another anecdotal, I have my street name set as an alert, and I got an alert today about some woman that fell, and then my street was the cross street. So those alerts are handy when you have this sitting on a scanner.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jesse. I was trying to get you to show up next to that, but I'm doing something wrong. So, yeah, let's take a look at the screen. And I see that you've got it in the nighttime layout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
how do we change it, by the way, in case we want to change it?
That's a very good question, Mark. On the bottom, you will see that you can click on dark mode, default, which is light mode, or you can set it to system default. So if your computer is in dark mode and your browser is in dark mode, it will automatically pick the dark mode if you have set it by time. So you can do that. And I personally prefer dark mode, so that's how I put it.
Cool.
Okay.
And if you do have any visual impairments, please email support@boondocktechnologies.com and let us know what the issues are, and we'll give them to our web developers and see if they can solve them for you.
Sure.
So, all right, buddy, keyword alerts. How's it done?
All right. Keyword alerts. Honestly, this is one of my favorite features. And I would say this is the most favorite feature, I would say. So, so think of it when all your audio is being captured, whether it's a repeater or a police scanner or something. Now, if you look at it, this is my W9DUP repeater. Now, the transmission is W9DUP. It's so mechanical. It always takes W9DUE, but this is my local DIP. Sometimes it picks up correctly. So it captures everything. I'm really interested in what's going on in my neighborhood, and I can see what people are talking about. I can see like more messages. If I want to see like, okay, I want to see 50 messages per page, you can do that too. All I did is filter here, and it shows me what all happened through the day. And I can go back and see. Now, while these audio files are coming in, you might be interested to capture some events. I will show you what I have set up. So I have set up, I call it bad weather alerts. So thunder showers, thunder space showers, heavy rain, tornado, freezing rain. I live in Chicago, so you can imagine I have to deal with all this. Mark doesn't have to. Then K9 ACM. I remember about 2 months back, I was curious about a ham with a call sign K9 ACM. I was really tracking when the person gets on my local repeater. So that's what I did. I created a keyword alert, and I would get notified whenever that happens. All the keywords that get captured will show up in alerts like this. So the recent one is 19th August. And let's see what this message is. It shows me it was captured because there was hurricane in the transmission 3 times. And, imagine hurricane, forced winds, and all that stuff. So I have the text. So I got the audio transmission, I can, of course, if I want, I can download it. This also gets delivered on your email. So your email will get the transcription as well as the audio file attached to it. So if you are in a situation you don't have good internet, you can play the audio file because it is in the email itself. So you can create as many alerts as you want. And let me show you, it's very simple. So let's say I want to create local, let's say W9DUP and sale. So I want to track whenever there is a swap and shop, uh, swap and shop and swap and shop. So I just want to track, like, I'm looking for a radio. It could be ICOM 705. I'm interested in that. So whenever on my local repeater someone is talking about ICOM 705, swap and shop, I will get notified. You can pick the docks. Like, I happen to have 3 Boondocks right now, and this local repeaters is connected to my repeater. I click email. Uh, on the text messaging side, we are still working on it. There are some legal things we have to take care of, but we will be rolling out text messages as soon as we get approval from the government agencies. Because when we have a text message sending out to multiple phone receivers, we have to follow certain laws and rules. So we are working on the compliance part. So I'll just put all the keywords. I'm calling it W9DUP sale, and I save it, and I'm good. And now every time these keywords would be hit, I will get notified. It could be anything. Like Jesse said that he wants to track his street address. I want to track bad weather living in Chicago. You can decide what kind of alert. You can have as many as you want, and you can also deactivate them. Like, for example, like, hey, you know what? I like this alert, but I don't want it anymore. I don't want to get notified. I just want it to be captured. So you can do that too. Like in this case, K9 ACM will only get captured. I will not get an email. So this is a very powerful tool to let Boondock do the things that you would care about on your ham radio or police scan or any signal you're tracking. Over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Casey.
Casey, do you mean that when you go back to the page real quick, if you uncheck active, you won't get any alerts. You just want to, like, if you just want to show up in your alerts panel, but not email, you just uncheck the one email alert, but still keep it active.
Yes. So if I want to receive, I don't want email, but I want to keep it active, I would keep it like this.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I confused, but
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even sweat it. You've been talking this whole time, buddy. You're doing fantastic. I do have a question, though, regarding transcription quality. We had a message in the Discord servers earlier that we weren't picking up phonetic call signs, but you were just saying that you were. Do you mind going on screen, and talking for a moment about transcription qualities and how you're managing the servers for the large influx of users?
Of course, Mark. So talking about the transcription, and you can imagine that we have an AI model which is processing all these audio files, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes the audio quality will be really bad, but it's still able to understand. But there will be moments that it will hallucinate. It will say something like, "Thanks for watching," or "Subscribe to my channel." I believe the AI that we used was trained on some YouTube channels and audio. So essentially, the current audio model is designed to understand 40 different languages and also translate it to English. So at times it will not get the right transcription. We have really high processing capability machines running on our servers to process and translate this audio kind of near real time. Once you use it, you'll realize that the audio comes in within 2 seconds. You will see the transcription. So we have our distributed architecture of bunch of servers set up in Chicago. We are going to we already sent and set up some in California. We are going to set up a new AI data center pod where Jesse is living. So we have distributed computer and hardware so we can support hundreds of users simultaneously uploading audio and getting transcribed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Casey.
Of course.
Excuse me for one moment. I have to. All right. We've just got a few minutes remaining. If you have any questions, please ask them now. We're not going to be around too much longer. Anything else that you think we should share, Casey or Jesse?
Yeah, just kind of furthering out about the transcription stuff. Further down the pipeline, we are working on things about cleaning up the audio before transcription. You know, running a routine that sees if there's actually human voice before it tries to tone down hallucinations. And I think eventually, long term, we want to look at training our own model based on like radio stuff versus YouTube videos, and that'll all increase the quality of the transcriptions, and that's on the roadmap.
Yeah, and we can ramp up or ramp down the quality depending on server load. Right now it's set a little low just because we don't know what's going to happen when everybody hits it all at once. So when we do run into hiccups, we're going to try to make sure you're notified via Discord. We might come up with some other notification schemes in the future, but that's what we've got for now. KC, any last thoughts?
About back on the transcription, I would say the best strategy to get better transcription is try to enhance, like fine-tune your reception. And because the better the audio quality, the better the transcription is. And either way, if you record something which is you hardly understand in the recording, even if transcription is saying anything, you wouldn't really know. So if the like for all the examples where audio quality is good, we have seen that the transcription quality is excellent. And of course, there are police scanners, there are radio operators who would just whisper on the microphone, or those are the issues that we have observed. And as Jesse said, that once we fine tune or retrain our model with ham radio recordings, Jesse has collected a bunch of audio. I have collected a lot of audio. So we are planning to fine tune our AI models based on that. So the transcription quality will be enhanced.
I'll also add, if you hear some weird distortion in the audio, in just base level audio, there's a very, very, very good chance that that's actually coming in from the power line of your 5-volt USB power line, either from your computer or from your wall wart supply. There are different qualities of those. A lot of them are switch mode power supplies where it's just constantly fluttering the voltage and giving you kind of an average of 5 volts. Well, the analog to digital converter relies on a steady input voltage. And if it's not getting it, you're going to hear a lot of audio artifacting. The best solution to that is either get a better power supply or build yourself a little, what do you think, Jesse? Just a little low pass filter? Just a bunch of capacitors?
Yeah, we could, we can probably show some schematic examples. Also, there's that IC we were looking at testing out that might become like a design that people could, purchase themselves and put on in line.
Yeah. So with that, had a few viewers, not a lot of questions, but it's always, always, always great to spend some time with you. We'll be back here on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, the best time, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. for the East Coast people. We hope to see you there with your questions. We'll be here answering, doing whatever we can to teach you more about the device and building the community. If you haven't already, please join our Discord. And that's all I got. You guys have any closing comments?
I think the best way is to get on Discord and talk to us. And whoever is on Discord can testify that Jesse, myself, or Mark, or our programming, we are there. You would see the responses like middle of the night or early morning, because we want to make sure that you get best out of your Boondock Echo. We have put a lot of efforts on making it work. We want it to work for you, so we are there for all the support. And uh, happy boondocking, would that be a phrase?
Boondocking is a thing, Casey. Boondocking is a
Yeah,
thing.
I hope it doesn't have a bad connotation on it.
No, it's it's camping, wilderness, being disconnected, off grid. So, Jesse.
Awesome.
I'm just glad to see more users come up online, especially for anyone, for all the ones that have trouble. I think we're seeing users that come online that aren't finding bugs too. You just don't see many of those because they don't have a reason to go onto the Discord yet. But go on and tell stories of like how you're how things are going. Post your shack pictures and join the community.
Absolutely. All right. Well, from the Boondock Technologies team, we appreciate your time. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and is there a bell you're supposed to smash? I don't even know. Do it, don't do it, but sign up for that newsletter. Don't you listen to Casey? Where's Casey? Don't you listen to Casey? You sign up for that newsletter. Bye.
Sign up for the newsletter. Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.